Hello and welcome to What's the Crack Irish Bodybuilding podcast with your host Neil Rennie. So I have Brian Ward back on. Brian, the last time he was on was 18 months ago, and he's preparing for his PCA Pro win. There's a lot of stuff happening that time. You got pro cards, you got clients pro cards. You've tore your bicep again, Brian. Not
Hey,
again. Another muscle.
Bison's
Look at
back,
that.
lads.
He's back, mate. I appreciate you coming on because that last time it was you were just about to start your prep last time, and obviously it ended up being pretty fucking very successful kind of year for you as well.
Yep. It was good. It was good. I was back in 2024. We're prepping for the PCA Pro Card basically, which the Pro Card kind of gets through out there a lot lately. But I worked for what 11 years before I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's something that we could touch on because a lot of people now just thinks we're just going to do a couple of shows and we're just going to get this Pro Card. But obviously there's more opportunities now to get it
Yeah.
than there was before. But fuck me, man. It took me what? First show was 2013, never got it to 2024.
It just
You know.
shows, 11 years actually working towards that as well. And obviously, even with that, refining your training, having to refine your training style as you get older as well. Even I'm finding that. I'm only 33.
Nice.
Things are having to refine a little bit as well. But me, I want to just touch on the bicep before we start because obviously, that had went, what, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago? Where are we at with that now?
So bicep went at the British finals.
Good time.
So good timing. Birmingham is something that you'll not forget anyway. Obviously, see to be honest, Neil, that bicep, and I says this to a few people, I think this year's been mental. So it has, and nobody really will see it or whatever. But and see to be honest, I probably was ignoring it to a degree too. But there's a lot of just go. It was just fight or flight the whole year. It's been a busy year for the team, and you would never change it. It's been a really good year for the team, and what we've won and what we've achieved has been massive. So, but with that comes definitely stress on me. And I think the bicep was a wake up call
Yeah.
because it happened obviously swinging a pillow. So I hit
How hard
fucking
were you
down.
swinging the fella?
I must have been swinging a brave and hard.
Knockout punch.
I must have been swinging a brave and hard, but it just literally swung it back, went to swing it, and just went. And I knew straight away. I looked down and I thought, oh fuck. And you know what? The first thing that went into my head was just like, oh, another surgery.
Yeah.
Because I've just had too many, man. And at the time, man, I was feeling sorry for myself a wee bit, and I was just like, oh fuck's sake, not again, hey. Another recovery, another surgery. But see, to be honest, I'm actually surprised how well it's recovered.
Yeah.
We're just 4.5 weeks post surgery, and the arm, it's moving again. It's attached, it looks good. And we were curling 4 kilo dumbbells yesterday, PB. PB, we're able to do a wee bit upper body again. Very light. Now, obviously not supposed to, but they basically said not to train until 12 weeks post surgery.
Health, right.
But as a bodybuilder, you kind of know your body, do you know what I mean? And this is not me thinking I'm macho man or fucking, invincible. It's your body, you're lifting a bottle of water, which is 1.5 kilos. You kind of know, right, okay, the biceps working. The first thing I done was just to get the range of motion back, because the surgeon said the hardest part will be trying to lock out your arm.
Yeah.
So the first thing I thought, my head, fuck me, my tricep, because if you can't lock out your arm fully, your tricep's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And through the whole kind of recovery, whenever I did get the surgery, the first thing that did go was the tricep. The bicep didn't look too bad. The tricep looked brutal.
Right.
It was just gone completely. So that was a wee bit of a head fuck. And then you just have to remind yourself, Neil, that it's only temporary.
I mean, you've been through obviously the quads were really pretty drastic. Do you think
It
it's
was.
helped to some degree? Obviously, having that experience of going through those surgeries, seeing how well you come back beforehand.
See, a lot of people said to me, I'm sure, look what you came through before, it'll never be as bad as the legs and stuff, but I think I've got PTSD from them legs, man. I was,
Okay, so
that recovery was mental. It took me about a year and a half to recover them. And I remember how they felt post-surgery and stuff as well. So I was just like, oh, fuck, we have to get this. I wonder, because basically, whenever I got the legs, the operation on the legs, I was in hospital for a week after because, man, the pain, my legs swelled up. And the pain though with the nerves and stuff because it was a tendon was mental, was really mental. We struggled to get it under control. So for me, this is coming back into my head, and I'm thinking, fuck, wonder will the bicep be the same?
yeah,
But in fairness, when I did get it attached and the surgery was done, I only had maybe had 3 bad nights. It was really bad. It was like a blowtorch. The way I describe it was I was kind of trying to sleep, and it was there was a blowtorch on your bicep the whole time, just no burning, like a nerve pain,
yeah,
and no painkiller to take it away. It's rough, so. That was a wee bit of a challenge the first couple of days, but after that, then, but it wasn't too bad. And I just kind of learned to just day by day. You know the crack yourself, being coached by me. Like I try to say to people, listen, we just go day by day. That's all we can control. And I'm a big advocate of that. But when it comes to me, listening to my own advice, maybe not the best, So
I think we're all like that as well, though. Like we're obviously like I coach as well, and you can say all the advice in the world, and I come on like a wee boy talking to you
uh,
about the problems, and it's definitely more challenging. Then you're also trying to live up to. I feel there is that pressure as a coach and somebody that's like probably one of the most well-known sort of face in the industry over here is to like you're trying to live up to a certain standard or continue to not even live up to it, but the standard that you
uh,
set yourself. It's very hard when you're in your own head at that point.
no, no, like, there's, like a lot of the time along the way, like I did pride myself on like leading from the front, trying to like show people like we can get proper conditioning. There's nothing like that I haven't ever asked my athletes to do. And this is why I think I have so much success as well, because if someone comes to me with a problem or they come to me with something on prep, like I have probably more than likely went through it.
Yeah.
Or more than likely in my case, I've probably had the worst case scenario, I just don't have any luck. But like I kind of prided myself on leading from the front in that sense, physique wise and just experience. So like for me there was that wee bit. I think when it went, I thought to myself, first of all, you do the usuals. Is this me fucked? Am I done? All this it's going through the head mental, like, and then you're just thinking another surgery, another recovery. But in fairness, like I think it had to happen, like, which sounds a wee bit crazy as well. But I think it gave me a kick up ass in terms of like my own, recovery and stuff. I was neglecting myself, Nathan, and that's just a fact. Like this year, you know, across the summertime and then coming into the second half of the season, it's just been peak week, peak week, peak
Yeah.
week, peak week. And it's not just one or two clients. It's like there were double figures most of the shows, and like fucking like seeing I look back now, I'm thinking, how the fuck did I do that? Like, you know,
I hope you
so,
don't
so
mind, but like we talked like pretty like personally, I think it was probably 4 or 5 months ago. You were sort of saying about like fucking I am feeling tired. You were saying
uh,
talk a bit about maybe the motivation to like to compete again. Like this
go
might
on.
potentially be something that goes right. Well, I'm gonna like I feel that you're somebody that maybe thrives under that I'm gonna fucking show them kind of thing.
I know,
But
I know.
or even if that person doesn't exist, the fact that I'm gonna come back and show I can do it again. Like, feel that's like a motivating factor for you now.
I think so. I think so. I think the bicep this year, I want to show people like that. That's not going to stop you, And I know for a fact that I'll come back better, for it. And it's definitely rewired my brain because I think I've put like all my eggs in the basket in terms of like I was always chasing that pro card, and I don't know what I expected from getting it, or I just was something that was so high up there at the time that where I would keep me going. So whenever I felt like I don't want to show up, I don't want to go to the gym because we don't always want to go.
No.
And any time I just didn't let myself stop because I was like, I need to get this. I want to prove that I can get it. I think it was especially after the legs,
Yeah.
snapping the legs and stuff. Because like say my first overall again after snapping the legs, I won two since then. But that was a massive moment for me. It was a moment where I thought to myself, right, I'm actually good enough here. I can do this again because whenever you snap empty legs, man, crack yourself. You're looking at them and you're thinking, fuck, can I do this again? Can I be competitive? So they won an overall against very good competitors again. Then, right, okay, I can do this. I'm squatting, like I said, Chad, you ready? Like one plate aside on a hack squat. So how can I be competitive against someone in squatting 4 or 5 plates? Do you know what I mean?
In
But
your
the
head.
reality is,
Yeah.
I've came back and beat them boys.
Yeah.
So there's a lesson for everybody in that as well. It's how you lift the weight. It's like it's a mind muscle connection. It's not always just the load. You know what I mean?
I think
So
that's
there's
came
different ways.
through maturity as well, though, Brian. Like that, the fact is, like, I mean, do you feel that obviously in your younger days, you were training heavy. I remember
Uh,
some videos and stuff. Like, would that have been? Do you think doing that then, lifting the one plate aside with that sort of form and that sort of execution, could you have grew those legs?
no,
So I think
no.
that's part of it. You hear one talk about,
Maturity, maybe.
how Nick
Like,
Walker trains now. Well, he's 300 pound belt beforehand.
like see the thing was like whenever the way I train now is completely different to the way we used to train. Like, we used to train in Dave Fox's gym, and like I spent a period of time, whenever there was no physique there at all. I was just a wee skinny lad. Like, I actually partnered up with Dave while he was still prepping.
Mhm.
And everyone in the gym used to say, "You're never going to last." And I used to be sick nearly every day, just out poking, fucking, and they're lying on the gym floor, CNS in the bin. Like, but he taught me how to train, like, but there was no fucking about, like, and it was all like the bread and butter stuff: bent over rows, deadlifts, T-bar rows, plate off, plate off, plate off, plate off. It was all high intensity stuff. We were barbell squatting, man, 5 plates a side.
Yeah.
Fucking me only a wee skinny whooper, like.
So you think now, like more, like, do you feel that you can still grow those legs now with that sort of weight that you're doing? That's just from your own affirmation too, to some degree, because
I think
obviously
so.
I've had knee issues for quite some time.
I think so. I think back then I didn't have the mind muscle connection or the connection with my body the way I do now. Do
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So that was one piece that was missing back then. So say for example, with the amount of power I had back then, with the amount of strength I had back then, if I had the mind muscle connection and the
Aye.
maturity that kind of way, then I've no doubt about it. My physique would have fucking blew up. I just didn't have it. Like I think that comes with time, and I think the biggest thing where I learned that was after the legs, snap the legs, because I was just fucking moving weight before that. So whenever they snapped, I had to try and find a different way to grow them. And to be honest, like from where my legs were, like I grew them back fairly well, so if you can do that there, so why can't you go further?
Yeah.
So my leg days now looks like, my leg presses will be like 20, 30 reps. I'll stop for 10 seconds, I'll go again. I'll stop for 10 seconds, I'll go again. So they're big high volume stuff, but it's still heavy enough weight.
I think the principle, the underpinning principle of just actual intensity and taking it there and taking
It's
it to
just
failure.
density. Yeah.
It's finding a way to do that, which you can actually do for weeks, months on end. Really, that is the underpinning principle of it all. Like, I mean, to go back to your pro card, like that was something. Obviously, I was at that, and seeing how like emotional that you were, and how much that had, like meant to you at the time. It's one of those things. It's like as a bodybuilder, I feel you're always chasing those moments to some degree.
Man, you can't even like see, to be honest, like I'm glad I've got the videos, because that day was a blur. And it's funny because I had actually 10 clients on that show
That's madness.
on the same day. And every single one of them, there was no less than top three. And we had three of us in the overall. And that was like, it was top physiques. It was me, Danielle at the time, and it was Jill was on that overall. And Pete, who was the fourth guy, he's on my team now, obviously, but he wasn't back then. So with the three of us took the overall. So that was kind of cool, to be competing with your athletes, being with them backstage. But the funny thing that stood out to me was Big Al. Me and Big Al, and he did the novice. We were backstage kind of together, sitting beside each other, and he says he's seen a different side to me, in terms of like how I get in the zone and focused, and so he was sitting back. I didn't realize at the time, you're just kind of getting in the zone,
Yeah,
get ready for, because man, I had Roy sitting across from me, and I knew this is going to be a fucking war zone here. This
yeah,
is literally going to be, who fades first. This is going to be the pose for pose, like. There was no way any one of us was going to walk away with that. And like, we knew that coming into the show. I'm getting panned beside the fucking man.
yeah.
So we both knew, like, so the tensions was high backstage, and not in a bad way. Both of us had a lot of respect. We were talking on different things, but we were fucking getting ready to go. Like,
Yeah, he was good. It was quite close as well. It was shot for shot a lot of the time, which is what you want. I think if it's going to be that level, it means that a bit more if you're having to take it from somebody that's of that
I,
level.
like Rory had, like, if you look at Rory's legs is like a pro level legs. He has
Aye.
his side leg is probably one of the nastiest side legs in the game. Rory was a wee bit softer up top, and then he had a bicep issue. So he actually had a wee bit of nerve damage, and he had to actually get his bicep surgery done as well. And his actually wasn't successful. Like he had to get two, and
Right.
he's a bit of nerve damage now too. So he's actually out of action at the minute because of that. But he was a wee bit softer up top, like from the bottom up, and then from the bottom down, you could argue he had it, and then it's going to come down to him who's probably the better shape. And I would say at that time, like I was just more complete, and it was literally a hairline. There was one point.
Yeah. I think your conditioning was the thing.
Uh,
That's something that you sort of pride yourself on as well. And I know it was like one of the reasons initially why I was wanting to like come to you as well. Obviously, I've been getting coached for you for like a year now, which is mad as well to think. But that element of condition, that's you always say condition kills. And I think that's where it was sort of swung. And then in the overall, I thought, I mean, the class itself, that was not to say harder, but that was the pro card was getting one there in the class, in my opinion, because it was like
yes.
fairly stand out the rest of it. So yeah, it's a big move, like, and now into the PCA Pro Leagues, and you compete it anyways the week after. Well, with COVID, I think as well. Talks about the luck with COVID and the World Championships a fucking week or two.
Hey, every post show sometimes you get that kind of post show like adrenaline dump, and
Yeah,
you feel like you hit a bus, right? So somebody in Galway smitted the whole building, right? Because I woke up on Monday morning, right? The buzz of the pro car was going. I was dead, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't feel good here." Like, and I was like, "Brian, no, you're back in peak week here, man. You need to get your shit together." And fuck, I just remember being really, really chesty high. And see, by the Wednesday, I was like, "I need to get antibiotics here." I
oh,
was sick, bro. So I was right. I was right. Fuck it. Went to the doctors, got antibiotics. So I had a chest infection, so it was all right. So went ahead that week. Antibiotics was going in, and normally within about 2 days, on antibiotics, my chest would get better. That I was getting sicker by the week, hey, and I was just trying to ignore it, just mind over matter. Like, so we flew out, hey, we flew out to Amsterdam, and we were out in Mullowee Marcus, wherever in the chemist, and we took the test because my eyes at this point, that's full blown flu type symptoms. Couldn't even do one round of posing. Martin would come around and go, I was like, Martin, I can't even pose.
Fuck.
Coughing like fuck, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to die here. So we got a COVID test, and of course I was positive, like.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh fuck me, hey, what are we gonna do here, like? But listen, I just said to myself, we ain't stopping here. We ain't stopping here. So I was like, coconummals went down, antibiotics went down, fucking there was Dizay down, taken for the fucking show.
That helped
So we,
someone.
we had a bit of we had a bit of a cocktail there, and fucking we went and done it, like. But hey, the physique wasn't affected, like.
No, I'd say arguably
It was drier and harder.
dry and harder.
It was a wee bit. See, to be honest, like see that day, it was the show extended a wee bit, so we did the approach slightly different. So for the Galway, we loaded up like fuck because I knew that Rory again was big. So I said to Martin, I said, listen, we need to go on fully blown, like. And I remember on the night before the show, I said to Martin, I said, listen, we need to put on more food here. We need to put on an extra meal. I said, no, I just knew I could take it, if you know what I mean, because you knew your own body. And the way we worked was he kind of just took it on board. He listened, so we did that. And the look for Galway was fully blown, like. The look for the words, we did a slightly different approach because, see, to be honest, Neil, we see with the COVID and the antibiotics and stuff,
Finding the stuff, painkillers and all that caper. Yeah.
because painkillers and stuff, I had no appetite, and we already loaded like fucking 3,000 carbs that week, and I was just like, he said to me, "We'll just put a big meal in this morning and just a wee smaller one." I go, right, that'll do. So we did 2 meals and we left it at that. But the show ran on and it ran on and it ran on, and you could have argued like maybe starting to flatten a wee tiny bit, but it wasn't enough to change anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the physique was fucking shredded the bone, like.
What was it like? What was the standard like when you'd seen the pro standard then at that PCA level,
Oh,
comparatively different level?
oh fuck me. See,
Yeah.
see what I loved, Nick. See when you went backstage and you're pumping up at the curtain, right? So you had the pro masters, right? You had the pro bodybuilders, you had the pro classic. It was fucking stacked. Everybody was massive,
Yeah.
and you automatically think you're tiny at that point. So I'm looking around, going, "Fucking hell, this is madness, like." But then in the back of my head, I had it was so funny because do you know Jill Simon?
Yes, oh, I will. Yeah.
So Simon was there, like, so nobody was allowed backstage, but then Simon he pops up. And he was
He
like,
always does. He's
I was like,
guy.
how the fuck did you get back here? And he's like, oh, I just walked back. So he was getting me and Alex water and stuff, and then he actually went and got me an inhaler, but I couldn't breathe. So me and Alex just pumping up, and Simon he was fucking. I was pumping up these wee bands. I'll never forget it. And Simon's on. He says they're like shoelaces. He says I'll go get Jill's bands. So he went and got Jill's bands, big fucking thick ones. And because I remember taking a picture, I said to Simon, take a picture, let me see how I'm looking here. He took a picture and I looked at it and I thought, fuck, we've got work to do here.
Yeah.
Because see, the week before, I literally did a couple of press ups, Neil, and I blew up,
Yeah.
straight away, pumped up.
Great
But
feeling that.
it was harder to come.
Yeah.
But obviously, I was sick too, like.
Yeah.
So Simon, he started this and I got us all pumped up and we went out, and it was probably one of the most enjoyable shows, to be honest, because there was no pressure on. I actually came fifth. So there was like Blue Boss was there, Alex was there, Yuri Mankaya was there.
Yeah.
Big Polish Chris was there. They're all season pros, like.
Aye.
So fucking, I came fifth then. Like I came first out of all the new pros that year, basically. So I was buzzing at that.
What's obviously now like you're sort of focusing on the day by day, in fact, getting the bicep back, getting yourself back into training, being smart with it as well. Fucking Smith machine yesterday. They like, what is the aspiration now? Like, if to go again next year, like, and where do you see yourself within that kind of realm now? When it comes to the pre-say pro ranks, like, is winning shows something that you're going right within the next year or two? That's still something you're going to do.
But I'm thinking I need to get a top three. Like I need to get a top three. Like in my own head, I'm like, get a top three first, and then you aim for the one. But I'll tell you what also seen was the Euro Masters.
Yeah.
That Euro Masters, like for me, I'm saying going like that's doable. Like
that was the one Matt Tofton was in. Got the pro card in. Yeah, like I mean, even with Nikki there, like that's where we're putting her towards some of the Masters shows next year, obviously at IFBB level, because it's somewhere you can compete. Do you know what I mean? When you're in that IFBB, and definitely winning a card there, it's very not very doable. I can't say that certainly, but
it is doable. Like because they have an over 35, they have an over 40, they have an over 45. And it's one of the ones where it's just another show to do, because see the problem with the PCA Pro is like you've only got limited shows. So like say next year I do the British finals, you could do that. Then you've got the Worlds, so you could do that. And then I'm nearly sure after that is the Euro Masters, or maybe it's in between. I'm not too sure. But you've another show, another option which you could do.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, Gordy, as well. Like you talked about, I think it was at the start of this, you said about 13 years. to get that pro card, and people are in such a rush for a start. It's not as simple as fucking doing a few
No,
years and then winning the pro card, but then you're limited. I think enjoying your time actually competing in them regional shows and like actually earning your way up the ranks, like that's what you should be kind of focusing on. That's my opinion on it anyway.
like, honestly, God, right, this sounds so stupid, but see if I could hand it back, I'd hand it back.
Right.
Like, see, just even seeing like my clients doing the shows, one in the sword, multiple shows per year. Like it's underrated. Like, and that's if you like competing. A lot of people wants to get the pro card so they can just stop and say, you know what, I've done that. I'm top of the cream of the crop. Basically, I'm in the pro ranks. That's me, and I'm happy enough. But like, fuck me, man. Would I like to stand back in that Irish stage, won another sword? You know, that's class. Like, and the thing is, I probably didn't appreciate it at the time.
But you don't though, do you? Because you're so focused on
So
fixing
fucking tunnel
that.
vision, and like, it's only now you looking back and going, I said there, I said I'd hand this back. Like
Mhm.
she's there's got me going ways up. But I would hand it back and do it all again. But like, obviously it wouldn't be fair and everybody else could be. But like this is what I would say is like enjoy while you're an amateur because once you turn that pro, it sounds good, it looks class, but you're limited to what you can do. Like
Yeah, and it's such a step up, you know. But then I suppose that's where the hunger comes from if you have the time to do it as well.
and
Like,
do that.
like you're talking 10 years before you can really get to that point, anyway. So you're
Aye.
quite well for some, others
The
not.
but listen. The people thinks like you can see somebody getting a PCA Pro Care, right? You can think, well, I could beat him. But then when you go in, it just depends who shows up.
Hmm.
There's some freaks like, so if you look at the top PCA pros, every one of them could potentially be an IFBB pro in any given day.
Yeah,
Like Alex Lord there, your man Lobos, they could easily go and do it. But what they're doing at the minute is they're doing the PCA pro shows because they can win money.
I see a big attraction in that now. I think there's a couple of guys that seem step down from IFBB this year, and I say step down.
Your man Lewis did, didn't he?
And there you go. There's 5 grand. He won. You ain't
Five
winning
grand.
that for the most part. Like as an IFBB pro, you're probably for a lot of time if you turn that IFBB pro as a no, not even as a Masters competitor, that's probably the last show you're winning. And there is something like fucking beautiful about chasing that win.
Aye. No, this is the thing. Like we're not built for second, third, fourth place. Like let's face it, like do we do this? They just show up. I know I don't like I fucking loved winning. Like I was very competitive, like, and held myself to high standard. And like it's not always about results, but like do you really compete for second or third? In them dark days when you're on that stairmaster and like, doing an hour stairs or whatever you have to do, a second place or third place going to satisfy you? I doubt it.
Well, I know
Yeah.
this. Like, obviously, we'll go back to yourself. I'm not going to talk about me, but obviously, working with you for a year now, like I have to give you a lot of credit in that sense in terms of like my mentality with things. Like that was like I came to you at a time really where my head was fucking in a pretty poor spot, and like I know like my mentality changed massively since working with you. Even like as you say, like having this like champion mentality in my head with it because winning was something I was like I'm doing it to be my best, but it never gave me the hunger and the drive to go, "Well, actually, and a bit of self-belief to go, I can win shows actually." And I know since I started subscribing to that and buying into that, like fuck my physique changed. Like I've never seen as much change in my like I've been doing it only 5 years now, but the
Aye.
last year, like night and day difference.
No, your physique, like you're over that prep. Even if you look at where you started that prep and where your head was at that time, and then slowly but surely, I was just like we were just planting wee seeds and different
Aye.
wee things across the way, and then all of a sudden they just come together, and then next thing you've got this fucking machine that's unstoppable, and that's realistically what happened. Like if you look at you through the back end that season, what you did show to show, you got better and better and better and better. You know what I mean? But your head was also in a
Yeah.
fucking way better place, and even out the back of that, you started to believe in yourself more. Whereas before you were always talking about yourself in a negative light.
Yeah.
There was always a negative tone. You might have says one positive, but there maybe might have been three or four negatives where you didn't really. So it was just trying to rewire that thought process. And then again, a lot of the times through your prep, I was just quoting stuff that helped me along the way.
Mhm.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because when this is the difference here. Whenever like I believe anyway, that helps me as a coach is like the experience that I've had the whole way through. Like I can relate different wee things over. So instead of me just telling you something, I can tell you this is what happened to me. This is what I did. This is how I overcome it. And then it kind of embeds in you, and you did implement some of them things.
Yeah. Big
Some
time.
of the wee smallest of things can make a massive difference to your mindset. Like,
Mate, honestly, that's like because that's what I want to talk a little bit about as well. Is obviously we can talk through the experience of being coached by you, and then how that it's transferred onto my coaching. Definitely, I've seen a massive change in my coaching and my mentality through it. Like this, like the past year, like the little things that you said about the like waking up in the morning, you're going for a piss at like fuck, or not going back to sleep as I was for me at like 2:30 in the morning, and saying I am a champion. And I remember you saying that to me at the time. I thought fucking that is the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. And then you find yourself doing it and you become this monster, really,
I,
essentially, as you're doing it. Like to I don't think unless people have got to that level of conditioning that obviously you've done fucking time and time again, or certainly I felt I got to this year. Like you don't understand it until you're in that mentality, until you're in that zone, and it's really hard to replicate. It's something that I missed, like, and even I'm having to work through now as I come into
Right.
my off seasons. Is like you can't really stay in that. You can stay in that zone to some degree, but that
Aye.
level of psychoticness, as you quoted in my last thing, like it's fucking not doable.
No, like see, whenever I look back at my prep on that to the Galway one, the one for the Brookyard, dude, I was a psychopath. Like
Mhm.
there was fucking, it was so fucking. I actually looked back after and I thought, Jesus Christ, that. But who was that boy? Like he was no, there was just nothing would have derailed me. Because obviously there was a lot of shit going on at that time. We were big fun that day. We were acting a cunt like, but there was fucking, there's a lot of shit happening like, and a lot of things being said and different things. But there was no derailing me, man.
Did that
There
get
was
in your
only
head?
there was only one out. Eh?
Did that get in your head? Did you
No,
use
this
fuel?
sure I had to block him and end up because he said to me, I met him there. I know I met him on one of the shows and he's all, you fucking blocked me, and I says, I fucking did.
Hmm.
It came to a point. It came to a point where like it was only a wee bit of friendly banter, like, but it was fucking big fall. Big fall took it too far, like,
Yeah.
and it just started to get a wee bit thing. So I thought to myself, you know what, this thing's nipped in the bud here now. So I just blocked him like at the time, and I just thought we'll do the speaking on stage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was one of the ones where I just went fuck this, bush, tunnel vision, blocked everybody out.
Yeah.
Um, and like the mindset, man. See, whenever I look back at the mindset on that prep, it was just like that's what I was saying to you. Like I was waking up, and it sounds so simple, like, but I was waking up. Because on prep, like if you have a negative thought when you wake up for a piss, 'cause you're waking up 3 or 4 times a night for a piss. So if you're talking to yourself negatively, you're going to carry that back into your subconscious in your sleep. So in my head, I was going to the toilet and I was just going, I'm not even opening my eyes. I was walking to the toilet. I am a champion. I am a champion. That was there's only one outcome,
Yeah.
and it happened. Like so for me, it helped me the whole way through. It kept my head sorted, and it came to fruition at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You are what you think.
I
If
think
you
as
if
well,
you think you're shit and you're not good enough, well, you're not going to be.
even like one of the things you said as well is like, again, I'll try and get my own clients to replicate now is like that. I wouldn't say manifestation to a degree, not necessarily believe in like, yes, if I start thinking this, it's going to necessarily happen, but planting that seed, like thinking about how I'm stepping on stage, how I'm going to act, how I'm going to act when I win, I'm not even entertaining the idea of like how I'm going to act necessarily when I lose, because
No,
it wasn't a thought process in my mind at that time,
yeah,
and it's like, that's one of the, like, for me, like one of the biggest things for your coaching has been the eye and the attention, because that was one of the questions I got. It's actually my mother, obviously. Fucking she's your biggest fan. She's like, what separates you, do you think, as a coach? Because obviously a lot of coaches in Ireland, a lot of coaches doing a lot of good work as well. But like, what's the thing that you feel like maybe separates you from other coaches that are putting you up in that sort of top ranks?
is this a question to me?
That's going to be a question to you, aye.
So your mum has thrown me on the bus here.
Absolutely, aye.
She's threw me on the
You're good
bus.
at
Uh, I see. To be honest, I just think it's. I just go for the both of me. Now, I take time. I take time as a coach to learn each person, right? So you start with me. There's a learn with the trust will build up,
that.
but you learn the person, like, and you learn where their weaknesses is, and then it's my job to turn them weaknesses into strengths. And this could be from a mental standpoint. This could be from a belief standpoint, and you learn where their strengths is, and then with that, I'm learning that person as they like. I know their mentality. I know when they're going to get it tight. I know when they're going to struggle, and I am that shoulder then to kind of basically cry on type thing, or there to support. So for me, it's about. It's not about. There's your diet. There's your training plan. It's not that. The difference for me is I know that I can get the best out of people
Yeah.
because I learn them. I can. I'm very very good at it. I don't know how or why, but I know for a fact I am because I get to read them, and I know when they're starting to break down, and I can almost tell them before they know themselves, and I know exactly what they do. They comfort it and they fix it, and just instill that self belief. So I think and this doesn't come like you couldn't do. I don't think what I do unless you loved what you do.
Yeah.
So it's just coming from an honest place. So for example, I'm just doing this here to get the ones, get the trophies. Like there's no way that I would have got the ones that I have or the athletes that I have if I didn't give a fuck about them.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I went through some rough preps with people, where you've went over and above. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the answer for that one. I feel anyway, like.
For I see it like as something that I like highly value, like generally, and is relationships, and it's like something that I put like a large emphasis on my coaching, and that's one of the reasons I feel that you are where you are with it. Like I get excited about my check-ins. Like sometimes I'm sending 2 a week just to get the 8.5 minute voice. And it's like that's where I place a lot of value because you feel that person is buying into you. I've been with other only been your two other coaches. One was a very short spell, and it was a very short spell for a reason. It was
Yep.
like it was a training plan that wasn't really my opinions and thoughts weren't really understood or listened to. And it was like,
Yep.
this is the best way to do this as a on paper thing and not taking the person into account. And I think that's where like the top coaches excel, in my opinion, and where yourself with like the relationship building and the understanding of the person's psychology. Because it really is quite simple when you say about it. Like, we go about the leg training, we kind of go, well, that worked, but that'll also kind of work too if you apply it right. But it's how
Yeah.
do you get that person to fucking apply it? That's the
Yeah.
thing.
And the thing is, as well, is like the ability, for example, someone's having a shit day. They've had maybe one bad day in the week, or something's not went right, but they've done a lot of good stuff as well. So it's important to, like, what I feel is like I can let's address the elephant in the room, the problem that has happened, and then we find an outcome and we move. Do you know what I mean? And I even just motivating them, like your client can be coming to you, right? That's on a prep, checking in, and you're just right. Blah 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 blah. There's the changes. Go ahead. You gotta spark something inside them. They fucking keep them driving for you, because at the end of the day, if they work, like, if you can fire them up, they're gonna work harder for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're going to get the results, at the end of it as well. Like, so it all works together. You know what I mean? And that's, to be honest, it's just like I said, you have to have a certain, like, personality to do it as well. Like, but I do know that I can fire people up. Like, I can get inside their head, and yeah, it definitely works. Like, proofs in the pudding.
Where do you feel with some of the one of the more challenging parts of working with me so far? Because that's the question I got, was the most challenging part of working with Neil. But then what was maybe more of the positives that you could pull out of us?
For working for you, were you?
Yeah,
Well, you yourself thought that the most negative thing was you were always coming to me with a lot of problems, like,
yeah,
a lot of problems. And you're like, sorry to bother you again, but the fact that you actually came, like, that didn't bother me. So you thought on your side that you were being a bit of a pain in the ass, you know what I mean? But on my side, I was building trust. I was firing it back, and the reason that I was given that time of day, I knew there was potential there. Do you know what I mean? And I also knew that it was genuine, coming from a genuine place. But there was also a level of a trust built up there.
mm,
So, like, no matter what happens, there was loads of stuff that was happening to you as well. Like, you came to me with that wasn't bodybuilding related.
yep,
Do you
yep.
know what I mean? So, to be honest, there was nothing there. You thought you were being a pain in the ass, but you weren't.
It was the smoothest prep I've done. I even thought, like, even in terms of like protocols and stuff that we use in terms of PEDs, it never
Very
felt
smooth.
particularly like, in like, this is even now as little a PED load I would say that I've kind of used. I've been round it before, but it's
Yep.
certainly a lot cleaner. That's not particularly, it never felt particularly invasive, is what I'd say, in terms of like, yeah, just like, again, beforehand, my past experience with coaches was like, it was kind of through the kitchen sink at things
Yep.
rather
Yep.
than this slow. Like, because, like, again, as an athlete, if somebody's throwing the kitchen sink, for me, I fucking, right, let's go. Do you know what I mean? But that
Aye.
wasn't necessarily like the best thing for us at the time. I
Well, you
even
were you
talking
were
about
very eager.
challenge.
Like, one of the biggest challenges for you was actually holding you back.
Yeah, big time.
So,
I just
so
wanted
that's
to get
probably
rid of
the,
it. I just wanted to take the
because
skin off.
you were gone. Like, you were like, no, we. I remember looking at you down the dock, and you were like, right, we go leaner, and I'm like going, no, Neil, it's done, man, it's done.
Yeah,
What do you mean? I'm
yeah.
grabbing it here. It's done. It's gone. We're skimmed.
No, it was quality, mate, and hopefully, well, it'll be definitely like next year after. That's the plan, to keep that going.
But you remember as well, like, your previous times, you were very inflamed.
Yeah,
Your midsection wasn't good. You had poor digestion, and like that whole prep with us, we put a massive emphasis obviously on that as well. Do you know what I mean? So obviously the PD load reflected that, but not only that, the stress levels. Like, we did a lot of working on just mindset,
yeah.
keeping the stress low, which then kept inflammation low in the body. And like, your midsection was never a problem,
Nope.
and it was the most detailed it's ever been this year. You said,
Absolutely. Even this part of this off season, like what,
"I
10
still
weeks
tight."
now, it still feels tight, and I it
Aye.
issues with that so much. Like, probably from I think stress plays a big role. I think that's something that people maybe don't like look into quite as much as well.
Right. The stress, like, and then the stress too as well from the PD side as well. So if you're running things, people think more is better and stuff, and certain things are better. But ultimately, if you're getting progress with being moderate, then why you push more? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then it's a cleaner look as well. So one thing I'll say about your physique this year, it was very, very fresh looking on stage.
yeah,
It was like, it had nice muscle bellies. It was conditioned, but it was fresh. It wasn't toxic. And previously, before, remember, we looked at it and I said to you, I think we can get tighter in the lower back. That, we were smoothed over a bit in the midsection. There was parts of that. Now, you were peeled before. You were shredded, and I said to you, because you were kind of looking at it and going, well, I think we can definitely beat this. And I said, the lower back will bring on more, and the midsection and stuff. And we did that through stress management, I would say, more than anything else. It
100%.
wasn't body fat. And then it was keeping you fresh through the season, because you started earlier than what you were supposed to.
Wait a bit.
It was just like, I'm going to jump on next week. I'm like going, Jesus, Neil, I don't know. Hey, it's a long season. And you're
Well,
like going, and I was like, fuck it, we go. And no, but you stay fresh, like, and you get better show to show. Like, what was the last one? The British finals, was it?
That's bad boy.
Full as fuck, hey. Some shot, like,
Yeah. No, it was quality, that British finals. That was like a kind of a massive sort of thing for me to go, okay, like albeit like not to say put anybody's barge it's UK BFF, but it was something there that it still held something in quite high regard to be a British champion in something. And it's gave us a lot of confidence, going forward, in the coaching too. I
right.
don't question it, where again, I think that's where some people you lose people when they're starting to like question you, maybe doubt you a little bit. I've been there as well, like, and because I'm coming up the way I see it, and I know when clients are questioning me, I've lost their trust. I've lost them as a client.
Yep. No, that's massive. Like, see once a client maybe starts questioning things, it's fucked. Like, it's going to be messy. Like,
Like,
but when you walk the way you have now, like, you've got a fair few titles under your belt now. Like, good few seasons under your belt. Like, you've came from men's physique the whole way through, really.
yeah, yeah.
And the physique this year, Neil, was crazy, man.
Just areas like we talked about, like the legs.
Leg
We'll
quads.
always I think we'll be chasing the quads for the rest of the career, but it's being patient with it too. But I'm happy, mate. I think things are moving in the right direction. Like everything feels it's moving in the right direction now, even with this as well. Or I
As
want
long
to
as
talk
you don't
about
food,
your
as long as you don't food poison yourself again.
fucking, I know. The other thing, I was cutting yellow bits of that chicken. Like a fucking idiot going, be all right.
There's just
We'll do that
nothing
again.
worse, like nothing worse than fucking booking, like.
The week before though, and stomach virus too, so it was fucking like 16 pound off.
Fuck it.
Big wins this year, Wardy. Big wins. Obviously, quite a lot of pro cards under your like PCA pro cards under your belt. Is there any like things this year that really like stood out to you? And I suppose like what have you learned? Like, because I think you're all like as a coach, you're always learning, even with all the experience you have. What is there anything that you've learned from some of these wins or maybe some of the losses too?
Well, see, to be honest, like, it's every season you do, you will learn. Every show you do, you will learn. And like, there's times across the season where you'll assess physiques and you'll think, well, what could we do better? And like, I do that with every single athlete. Even though an athlete wins, you don't necessarily look at them and go, or just turn a blind eye and think they're perfect,
Yeah,
because they never are. There's always something you can learn from it. You know. And I think this year potentially, like, it was obviously still fresh. It was obviously Jill that weekend in Galway. So like, everybody looks at Jill. Jill's a perfect example because Jill has done 3 seasons. She's unbeaten. Um, she won every title on the sun basically, and all the swords. She's 10 swords. Is it 10 swords, 11 swords? She might have 11 now, maybe. She's 10 or 11 swords. Like, it's just fucking insane physique. But like, we don't just turn. We hold ourselves to a really high standard, obviously, and Jill does too as well. So like, the Galway show, we talked about. Jill was a wee bit flat on it. And like, what I've learned there and what Jill's learned there is like, every season's different, every show's different, and we obviously mature as athletes, and you mature as a coach. So like I was telling you already, like, as a coach, I'll probably learn, like, I give Jill a wee bit of leeway in terms of, like, Jill likes to train the day before the show. And like, we've got wee routines. She's got wee routines that she does, and she's fucking excellent at doing it. So like, as a coach, when you have an athlete of that high standard and they want to, like, that's fine. We never ever had an issue. Now, that one show, we were a wee bit flat on it. And the thing about it is I didn't really notice it until backstage. So basically, it was a stressful week for different reasons for Jill. That will not go on there, but everything was looking grand, everything unfolded grand. And then that particular show, I seen her backstage, and I was like, it just wasn't jumping out at me as the way it would normally would. So straight away in my head, I'm thinking, what's the story? So I said to Vinny, I says, pump her a wee bit harder and stuff. So we pumped her a wee bit harder, and it started to come. But then I put a wee bit of salt and water and stuff on there, and we got it sorted, and it all started to come. And I wasn't worried in no sense, because I knew Jill was still fantastic. But it just wasn't jumping out the way I normally see it. So I knew she was a wee bit flat, and like, we discussed that after. So it's not as if Jill obviously won her class, won overall. So like, as a coach there, you could easily just say, oh, Jill's class, Jill won. But straight away, me and Jill was discussing, going, no, we're not happy. Like, we were a wee bit flat. What could we do different? And I just said, they Jill, like, we need rest. Like, we need to drop off stress. We need to drop off rest. So we we barred her from the gym the day before. And then we were going straight on the peak for the worlds. So like, that, I believe, sharpened me towards her, and it also sharpened her towards the whole
Yeah.
outlook. So moving forward, obviously, Jill went on ahead. She won the worlds. We come in on the worlds, fucking the most separate I've ever seen her legs and stuff. So super buzzing with that. So everything was just taken on board, and we adjusted and we moved. Which should happen, even though she won.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you could easily have just ignored that and thought, oh, she's perfect. But if it is there to be better, then it needs to be better. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
Because
That's what makes you great, isn't it? That's what makes somebody very, very good. Is like always wanting to be better. Like there's
right,
always something to be improved on. And obviously, Jill's going for the IFBB Pro card as well, which would be your first, I believe. I think we'd said as well.
she gets that, she'll be the first. Like obviously, I've got Jessica on the team, but she didn't won that with me. But Jill will be the first if she gets it. Will be the first to win the IFBB Pro card, which will be massive for her, like as well.
Are these things for you? Like, so obviously, I'm a coach. Like I love bodybuilding, like through and through. Love competing, but I love coaching. Like, is that something that has been a goal of yours, like to win an IP Pro card, or is that not how you view things?
Nah, see, to be honest, it's not what drives me anyway.
Right.
It's not what drives me. So I'll tell you what. See, in my younger days as a coach, I was obsessed by getting a sword.
Mhm.
You know, I was literally obsessed because me and Denise went through this because Denise was my first person that won the sword, and we had won like a million shows with her season after season. It was just like show after show, and we're in the overall so many fucking times, and we just kept getting beat by wee stupid things like we were getting silly feedback like bikini wasn't right or hair or. And you're like, fucking really? Like, and we could see that she had the superior physique because a lot of politics goes on to at times, like, and they won't say that, like, but you can see, that's what I say to my clients is like, when you go in that overall, they're all champions, like, so it can go either way. Doesn't matter. Like I've got some, and I've also lost some, and you thought there's no way that could have happened, like but it's just the nature of the beast, like. But back then, like the sword, I was obsessed with winning swords, like to the point where we had emojis and everything. I actually made t-shirts. A man made a sword and everything, but I was obsessed. But after that, like I think I matured as a coach too as well. Like you won the overalls, you won the shows, and you realized that it was the biggest one for me was the athlete's journey. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what level they're at, I was seeing them on stage at their best. And it's a certain look. Like say for example, right, we won a sword, but the look's off, then
Yeah.
that would mean nothing to me. That would piss me off. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be happy. Whereas if I have an athlete on stage and they're absolutely fucking polished, that's what drives me. Do you know you see the tan's perfect? It's like really, really dense, lovely fucking tan. You've got the shine perfect. You're on stage, the fullness is spot on. You've got the condition spot on for the class. And you're looking there and you'll just see me with my Granby fist, but I'll be just sitting there going, that's fucking unreal. Like that's what drives me, is how close to that perfection can we get. It's not the trophies, it's not the swords, it's not the pro card, like
It's interesting
because
that because like obviously those I'd imagine a lot of those wins is what's drove that coaching business of yours like as well. Yes, like the looks so important, but there for me, obviously, again, probably I'm at a point where you were maybe 6, 7 years ago, going right. I want that look to be brilliant, but those wins are what's going to drive that business. It's going to get me more clients to that level where I can stick them on stage and they can be winners, they can be overall winners. It's interesting.
see if you chase the look and you perfect the look, that the trophies come, the
Yeah,
swords come. And this is what I've learned because I was always chasing the sword. And I was never chasing, well, what do I actually need to get that sword? And this is where I've learned a lot, is because you deliver the physique time and time again on point, then you're undeniable. Do you know what I mean? So this is where people get fixated on, I need to win this. No, just you need to nail that physique. And
yeah,
see, when you nail that physique, it's getting rewarded anyway. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
True. It's true. It's true.
So that's where. So this is why, and because like obviously I've won, and it's not to say that I'm brilliant or whatever, but like you've won so many shows and you've won so many swords, you still get buzzed for them. But my real buzz that gets me going is the actual finished product on stage. You know that look, that polished look. Like I fucking love that. Like, and then even
Sign it off.
if there was a boy backstage, the boy that won the Masters Pro card, at Galway there, what's his fucking name? Hey,
Chris, is it?
Chris.
Yeah.
I seen that man backstage straight away, and I just knew straight away. I went over and shook his hand, like spoke to him, and he
Awesome.
actually DM'd me the week before because he snapped his bicep as well, and I didn't actually realize it was him. But I seen his fucking physique, man, and he was just so polished. I knew, and then I heard from the back curtain, "You PCA Pro," and it wasn't a surprise, because the look was fucking on.
And that's the thing. I think as a coach, you respect that when you see somebody that's just
Oh,
he looked. I mean, he's completely dialed in. That lad say was he looked
he was skilled, really
and
good at.
that's such a like again that sort of polish. You go boom, it's pristine. There's guys maybe had a little bit more muscle, but like the look
He, w-
itself was just
he wasn't
perfect.
that heavy. No, he wasn't that heavy. The muscle or anything out there, but he was just so fucking skinned and polished. Like he was just everything was just there.
Do you find that the higher you kind of rose in the game, the longer you've been in it, like are people? Because I heard this year about the Wardy show, but
Aye.
with some of the shows, is that like how do you take that? Is that something that gets to you? Something that you go and laugh at? But I'm sure there like I know for me there would be a bit of grit in my fucking teeth when somebody said something like that.
I feel like it's taken away from athletes. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? No, I'd love to jump on a podcast with these people that says it's the Wardy show, and I'll say, right, bring up the winners here now,
yeah.
and you show me in that lineup who was beating them,
Mhm.
because you're not. It's a stab at me, right? but you're taking it away from my athlete. Like my athlete fucking deserved the one. So say if I have an athlete there, like them overalls that I won, and there's been overalls this year that I should have won, like, and I get shafted like fucking badly, like, and I was like, what?
Who?
Like,
Who?
well, we are number one. She was a clear winner,
One,
like won the
one,
shows.
one girl? Is that?
Aye,
Yeah. Okay.
100%. Like, there's no way that she was beat that day. You know, there's probably another few if I go through them, but there's been a few. Like, don't get me started.
Catching up.
But I think, the Warley show, there was people said it, but if them people just took a step back, take a look at the athlete on stage and tell me who beat them that day then,
Yeah.
because they're deserving winners. Like, so it doesn't take. But sure, then we went down to muscle contest, and sure we cleaned up down there.
Yeah. That
And
wasn't the
then,
course of the Wordy Show, the muscle contest.
I mean, we're in Australia there, just sent in Australia. There's one an overall after overall. So is that the Warley show too? Like, it's in Australia, like different fucking part of the world. So, like we can keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think that comes with success, or it comes with putting yourself out there as well. Like there is a sense of pressure now. I think the better you do, like I've even found, like, and I'm not on that same scale. Even with doing this sort of stuff, they're like, or even last year because I documented so much of that prep, I felt like going, fuck, I've imposed a bit more pressure maybe than I really wanted to invite.
You open yourself up for criticism, like, so you have to be thick-skinned. Like, there was definitely phases where, from where I started, and then as you come through the ranks, there was people trying to tear you down. Like, there's
Hmm.
people trying to tear you down, and every coach will probably get this to a degree, but you got to just keep your head down and keep working, like, and keep cranking out the results, and eventually then people comes back and there's no issues. It's like Big Phil there, for example, is a prime example. Like Big Phil, obviously we had a wee bit of banter there back and forward. It probably went a wee bit sour, at one point. But like we're back to down in Galway there, talking again, no problem. He'll shake my hand, he'll tell me you've done a real good job there. Coach of the fucking he nominated me for one of the coaching awards, you know what I mean? So, everything runs and roundabouts, like, and there's a mutual respect there regardless. It all, you have to be thick skinned, and like I think you have to be kind of mature enough to kind of rise above it as well, because if you took every negative comment and you felt like that person and never spoke to them again, you wouldn't be speaking to anybody. Like, you
No,
have
I
to fucking
get it. Listen, like, you're always trying to be. Everyone wants to be the best they can be. Do you know what I mean? And that usually means you're better than somebody else. Do you know? Like even I found
aye.
I put up the bodybuilding Irish bodybuilding awards thing, right? And I was like,
Oh,
this is
tell Brooke was
great idea. That's a great idea, Neil. And then it started coming in. And I was like, fuck, you know what? Like to me, it was about trying to like go. I just wanted the whole goal of this anyway is to like network, to talk to people, to highlight Irish bodybuilding and people that are doing well. But even putting that up, I could see how that could get quite negative because it's like
100%.
at the expense of other people. So I kind of thought, fuck, I'm not going to do these awards because even the fact that because even the fact that people were commenting, that's great. You're going to think your coach is the best. Obviously, I'm going right. If I'm going to pick it, I'm going to go right. I think Brian is the best coach, and I think he is. I think you are. In terms of the amount of clients you're putting on stage, the look of the client as well. But that's not like other ones that are also doing a very good job. And even when it comes to the athlete of the year, it's very difficult because you're kind of going right from how are we judging this criteria? Because I know there's IFBB pros in that. I look at it and I think Jill is the athlete of the year. Is that coming from a sense of like biasm? Maybe to some degree, but she cleaned up every show and brought a very good look. Like if you're looking at like the top athletes or athletes that you've seen this year, your own as well included. Like even a few names, like who do you see up there?
I think Neil, probably Ross is probably the best at the minute, is probably the best bodybuilder. Like, I mean, Ross has had a wee bit of tit for tat too along the way, but that's just because we're competitive. Like,
Yeah,
but Ross is probably the best bodybuilder. Like, you can't deny that the boy, he gets shredded the bone. He fucking brings density. So, fucking, I mean, he's dangerous at any given day. And like, as a female, you have to look at like how difficult it is to attain the physique as well.
yeah,
So I think that's why Jill's in the mix there. Because her look is not easy to achieve.
agree.
And then they repeat that year after year. Again, she stands out in my head. So like the male would be Ross, and then the female would be her. Um, because you could list these all day long, but like the two at the top, like at an elite really level, conditioning wise, muscular wise, would be them two.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think with Ross, especially like that title of being the first man to win, from Northern Ireland.
He's PCA pro and he's AFBB pro. She can't deny that. Like,
And then, like, I mean, like, I see ones that are coming up because that was the sort of thing as well. And I think it's interesting talking about this because you have such a good eye for it and a knowledge like of the bodybuilding landscape, especially in Ireland. Like, who do you see as like the ones that are coming through now? Who's going to be the next PCA pros, the next IFBB pros in Northern Ireland or Ireland generally?
AFBB pro, maybe Ben Gardner if he lands it.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Like, he looks very good.
He's a really only boy that I for AFBB at the minute at that level like really stands out to me that he could, because he's only young too, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's strong as fuck. He's lifting big weight and his physique. Like I seen him on stage against Lee and Ross that time. And you know, if he had a bit sharper, like he's a handful for anybody. Like, so if he's put more muscle on since then, which he has, then what does that look like on stage? Like,
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
that show, like, it was interesting because he was coming in, he looked absolutely phenomenal in the pictures,
It's
and
just off. Like,
just was slightly, it was off a little
Tom,
bit, you know. But now,
Tom just fucked him up a bit there. It was soft, like,
yeah,
but
I
blame
mean,
Tom.
well, I mean, that's the thing as well. We talked about the coaching. Like, I mean, that's you start getting a huge volume of clients through the door. Like, you can take your eye off the ball a little bit, you know. And I
Aye.
think that's probably something that maybe potentially not put words in your mouth, but maybe you've seen this year as well. And it was one again another question we got is about like how you handle such a high volume of clients in shows. You know, it'd be interesting to hear like your thoughts on that because I'm sure there is. Like, I know even having four in a show, five in a show, I'm like, fuck, I'm not sleeping. Like, I'm thinking about their peaks the whole week. You know.
Aye. Well, like I just take everybody as an individual. So, like, you know, I've had people like 16 in the one show, 40, like multiple times this year. I've had like double figures in the shows. Like, the hardest part is navigating the show day, and the hardest part about it is just making sure everybody's there where they should be at the time they should be, making sure their tan's good, making sure their glaze is good, because you wouldn't believe the difference that glaze makes. Like, you know, and it's not that the gears aren't putting it on properly. It's just like there's a certain look that you're after. Like, well, I'm after anyway, because too much is no good. And then if you've got areas where it has a wee bit and then there's none there, you have to make sure it's an even balance. And then some people, like it depending on the athlete, can suck it in their skin, they dry off too much, and then the other ones it sits very, very wet. And then you're thinking, fuck, if they do one round of posing, this is going to start running. So you have to be very careful, even the females included. Like, you have to be careful how you, because you see them sometimes too much on the glute, too much on here in the chest. It always sits there, females in the chest. That can't be right, because see when they stand in that bikini front pose, the top line is so important. The next thing is blurred out because it's shiny. So you're looking like they have no top line, but they actually do. So there's wee small details, and then if the glutes are too shiny as well, it fucks it up. And then on the lads, like, you got to be careful around the back, because you know the heat up there, sweat, and once they start sweat starts running. So there's wee small details there, but I just literally break it down one client at a time. I don't think too much. There was one, but somebody asked me about a week out how many clients have you in the show, and I says I don't know. I didn't count, so it wouldn't fuck in my head. I knew there was double figures, but I was like, I don't know. I was just picking them one at a time.
Did you find competing? Because obviously you competed at that show that you won your pro card at. When you were locked into your prep, did it nearly make it easier, or did it make it harder?
I was super productive, like, you know. So I was up early. You weren't sleeping, like, so you were locked in. I was up early. They were up early. We were just banging out. It was easy.
Yeah,
It was no
I find that your level of productivity just goes through the roof when you're
through
impressed.
the roof, like, through the roof.
To a point, the back end definitely I started getting a wee bit sort of sluggish with things, I would say. But you're that manic. You're like Rain Man.
There's a period in the morning time where you're super productive, and after that you're fucked. So I just made sure that everybody's checked in. First thing, boom, that was my priority. And after that, then if it died, it died. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was fine. So there was a wee window there of a couple of hours of energy level brain power, and after that, then it was gone.
You get that. There's at 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, boom, I am the god here. And
You're flying.
you're like, Jesus Christ, half a day's done here.
Uh,
Like, what's like, I want to go, I want to not keep you too much longer, Warwick, because I'm always aware, like, it's an hour long. And people
it dries on too long.
drive on a wee bit. But I do want to ask a couple of questions that people did send in as well. And I seen you actually talk about it as well on your post. Like, I thought, what are you fucking ranting here? Like, he's not so ranty at the minute. But peptides, obviously, like, it's not something I've experimented with a lot, to be honest with you. I know clients ask about it, and I don't really like sort of prescribing, for want of a better term, unless I use them. But they're everywhere.
Exactly.
What's your views on them? Have you used them a lot with clients, certain ones?
There's a few clients this year. So I'm in the same token as yourself, and same thought process. Like, I don't jump on a hype train that comes about until it's kind of proven or something really changes my thought process on it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if something new comes on the board and everybody's ranting about it, it's not going to change my mind. I know how to get people in shape. Like,
Yeah.
I know how to get them stage ready. I know how to do it. So if I've done all that already, and I know what works and what doesn't work. So if something new comes along, I'll watch the hype train. I'll take it on board. I'll digest it. I'll see what happens. I'll watch people using it, and then unless I use it myself and stuff, I'll not be really prescribing it per se, right? But this year, well, obviously the healing peptides we know works well.
Yeah.
The TB500, the BPC I use because, like, obviously torn up injuries, no problem. As for the rest of them, like, I haven't really experimented too much with them. Like, now, Graham this year used the Retta. He was probably one of the first people that used the Retta, Graham. And he openly spoke about it. Like, Graham found it very, very good. Like, I didn't find any issues as a coach. In terms of like, because gastric emptying gets slowed down, etc. We dropped it out for peak week, and we never had any issues carving them up. The first show we put like 7 kilo on them. Every other show after that, we kind of found the boundaries. We were always filling Graham up by like 3, 4 kilo, 5 kilo maybe max. So we never had an issue filling him up, and he had no food noise, blah blah blah. And to be honest, he did bloods, and the bloods did come back fairly good. So there's an argument that this Retta thing could be potentially good. Now I've seen it on maybe 3 or 4 other clients that was using it as well. Now these are clients. The client comes to me and goes, look, they're getting the tide right, and they're going, I'm going to try this. I go, there's no problem. Start at a low dosage and we taper it up. And so far, the Retta seems to be effective, but it seems to be effective, especially in a prep setting. Like, in terms of like the people say it's about insulin sensitivity and stuff like that. In a prep setting, it's hard to gauge like how good is that, because you're shredded anyway.
Yeah.
So your insulin sensitivity is going to be good. But from a hunger perspective, and you know what, the look and the physiques that was coming through that I've had use it, I was pretty happy with. Now it's not going to be a game changer, like, but in terms of like keeping a client on plan, potentially, yes. But
I
see,
have clients there and ones that are notorious like for overeating, even in like when they're starting into their off season set of stuff, and
it will be a game changer.
yes with it. And there's a purity part of me doesn't like it, because it's like, although we use anabolics and stuff, it's like that ability, especially when your fucking tick box says condition. They're going to get an upper hand here. But I think that with the blood work side of things, with the cholesterol side of stuff management, like there's definitely utility in it.
See, whenever it first came out, I didn't even entertain it.
Yeah.
No, like same in the other ones, the semaglutide and all that shit. I didn't entertain it. I was like, nah, pile of shit. Didn't look. And then the more the feedback came out about it, the more the research came out about it, and then obviously Graham started using it as well. He was the first. He was the first to use it, so we're blaming Graham. But no, it was good feedback. And then I'm not somebody else. They turned the mind completely off. Didn't think, no, it's a pile of shit just because I don't want to use it. Like I listened to the feedback. I'll watch the bloods and stuff, because I've seen Graham's bloods, and Graham's always somebody who actually runs on slightly higher cholesterol, and his was actually better, and he was on fucking prep. So I was like going, well, there's potential the Reddit's helping here as well. So like, to me, that has definitely, like, I wouldn't stop my clients using it, because if someone's struggling and there's something there to use, well, why not utilize it? Unless something comes back out to me now and says, listen, this isn't good because of X, Y, and Z, then I'll be going against it. But until then, at the minute, I don't see anything the way we should avoid it.
No, definitely. Like there's that much as well, and I think like people get a little bit bogged down sometimes when actually, like, we've seen people get in shape and get in shape very well for years. But if there's something to be helped with, I mean, it's definitely something I'm way more open to, and I'm learning about it as I go. But it's like there's just so much, and people are wanting to use this, and this, and they kind of fucking stick to their diet or do their cardio. Sometimes you're like,
there's just so many. There's so many peptides. Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many, like the not and stuff like that for energy and different things. Like for me, the Retatrutide has its place, and I have seen it this year where it's served as a point. There's probably more people on stage because of it. Like,
yeah.
Some people just can't diet, and some people can't get away from the food noise. You know what I mean? So that side of things, it could be a game changer for some people. Like,
Need to stay on it post show though. That's the thing I have seen. People are kind of just
post show's the hardest period, man.
definitely, yeah.
Hardest period. You know what I mean? Like, you see it. Now, in fairness, this year, like, my clients there's been no real mad meltdowns. Everybody's kind of reversed it really, really well. I'm actually like fucking surprised, because I'm waiting. Do you know when the post show, when you have so many athletes, you're just waiting for carnage?
Yeah.
It hasn't been like that at all. And I'm just sitting going and waiting for it. It hasn't come.
It's a different game now, I think, because there is so much about that post. You see, it's a lot. Like, I know I talk a lot about the post show period as well, and managing it. There's so much out there that I think people are a little bit more aware of that, and coaches are maybe being a little bit more on top of that side of things. Like, but yeah, mate, there's absolutely loads that I can go through where you hear, like, but I'm sure I'll get you on again as well. There's I don't know about too many cans of worms. I just thought I'd lay you in a few, like, as well.
No, we're good.
What's like in terms of next year before we go? Like, what are, like, I suppose personally, from a bodybuilding perspective for yourself, and then as a business or as a coaching brand, like, what do you foresee? What's your goals with it?
From a coaching standpoint, we're just going to do more of the same, man. We're just going to try and dominate shows. Like, for me, like, I do get a buzz off it. Like, it does drive me on. It's just keep putting people on stage, the high standard, and that's not going to ever change. Like, so no mad goals of like get a pro card here, pro card there. If they come, all well and good. But like, for me, it's just to keep the standard up. I talked about it as well, but before I get into opening another can of worms, but it's like, I think that the standard needs to come up across the board.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's because, like, whenever your show's right, the biggest thing that I see is, like, there's not enough condition. Like there's not enough people polished on that stage. So like there's room for everybody to level up, and I think that needs to happen. Get into 26, 20, try and make it that wee bit more exciting. Like
That's what, like, I mean, I've been to a lot of shows this year, and I think I've been probably 10 or 12 shows. There's always one, maybe two that's in conditioner. There's sometimes there's not even a like much of a battle there. To be honest, the show that I went to that Birmingham show, and to me that was like an incredibly high standard. Like in terms
all
of
right,
obviously being in England, like over here this year, like even with the class twos, I was a wee bit disappointed in terms of in terms of the amount of people at it for one.
class
And
two's diluted now, but
yeah,
who are they? Where are they? They're
why?
diluted. They're all fucking like it used to be the biggest class. But like there's when you think about it now, if you try and list them, like it's hard to think of class two bodybuilders in Ireland now.
No, I find it, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's too many shows. There's not that many shows, but there's two or three. You know,
Uh,
I mean, I know I went into that Irish show expecting right, this is going to be a war. And I mean, if anybody showed up, I know there's a lot of people pulled out. If
uh,
anybody showed up,
they
well,
pulled out because you were coming.
that's they
They,
seen the glitz.
hey, hey, they seen Neil was coming. That the glitch show was that fuck that not
I've
standing
never been
there.
as happy to see Ben Gardner not do it.
I know. But like the thing is, like you've got like first and second, like, and then after that, there's just a major drop off in condition. And you know something? There's so many physiques I'm looking at, and they're making the same mistakes over and over again. And it's not our place, they say, or comment, but you're thinking going that needs to change because there's loads of athletes. Like, when you look at some of the structures they have, some of the physiques they have, fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
And they're missing every single time they're missing them. They're coming third, they're coming fourth. You're thinking, fucking hell, just land it because see if they do, it fucking makes it exciting for everybody.
Yeah. I think,
There's only maybe one or two times this year where I had like butterflies in my stomach. Like, whenever you know someone else is there and you're like, fuck, this is going to be a battle. Like, that's fucking, see, as a coach, like, that's class. Like, whenever you're kind of waiting for your athlete to come out, you're nearly sick in your stomach because you know X, Y, and Z is going against them. You know this is fucking going to be, and you can barely breathe.
yeah.
Only got that feeling maybe once or twice this year. So
It's a good feeling too. Like you want to be in a
class.
battle. I know these
That's
like
good, eh?
nothing less like it's not rewarding. Like I know like I pumped the Irish show up for so long and then going and nobody was there at it. It was a bit like it's disappointing, you
I'm
know.
being interrupted here.
Gamble on.
She's like, get off, Neil's chatting shit.
Get her on. She's a girl for an opinion.
Well, she started handling. She started right in an empty room too. So she was.
But so it was. I mean, I know it was disappointing for myself. Obviously, like I'm glad the overalls were there. That it was a little bit more of a battle, at least in that. But
Aye.
it needs like there is. And why do you think the standard is off?
I just think it's the way people's prep, like, and that's the reality. It doesn't like you have to remember, right? Everybody's at a different level, so you'll have different athletes at different level. But there's one thing: if you do a prep, like your off season, the high standard. If you do your transition and the prep, the high standard. There's no reason why any athlete at any level shouldn't be conditioned.
Yeah.
And it comes down to then maybe potentially prep coaches afraid to push their clients that bit harder in case they leave, or because I do know there's a mental battle the whole way through the prep with your client. Like you have to almost groom them and their way of thinking to get them over the line at a high standard. Because if you look at my athletes, like the condition game is what we do, like, and to get people there, that's not fucking easy. It's not easy as a coach and it's not easy as an athlete. And then you have to have a serious but a trust there for them to do that for you. So like I think it's just the approach to prep, and then it's maybe potentially the prep coach has been a wee bit lenient on them, more refeeds when they're not needed and afraid to just say, listen, we need to dig here.
Yeah.
Or maybe potentially the people isn't prepared to go there. But again, that's up to the coach to get inside their head. They tick them there.
That's where I think where it lies. Is like as we talked about in terms of what makes like that like because I think a lot of people have the knowledge base. It's just your ability to do and get in somebody's head, and I think that's maybe it's I don't want to say lazy coaching to some degree, and not actually spend the time to groom them per se.
100%, 100%. Because the thing is, like if I keep going back to it, but like not all my athletes are a super high level athlete, like genetically blessed, and like a lot of them doesn't believe in themselves. And until they actually won on stage, there's some people this year has been in tears because they didn't actually believe they could win.
Yeah.
But again, I was always just reiterating, and it starts from months before prep.
Mm.
You're planting a seed. You're trying to plant self belief. You're taking their physique to certain places. There's different stages of like your off season where you need to be in terms of body fat and like even just food, cardio, everything. It doesn't just start with like a prep.
Well, I see even in that sheet when you wrote PCA overall, like next year I'm like fucking
This is it. Like this is You know what I mean? It's just really small stuff, things that people's missing. But there's too big a drop off, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So say for example now we removed, even if I take my clients out of the equation there, I believe the standard would drop massively, and that's not me trying to blow smoke up my ass, but they're 9 times out of 10 they're completely polished on stage. So you pull them out of there, where does the standard now go? The standards of the winners is now less, and then is that the new normal? Like, this is where I think everybody needs to level up, because it helps grow the sport too. Because seeing you go across the water, it's fucking leveled up over there.
Oh, it has. It
You
has.
know, when you go to the bigger shows. So like for me, like that's, I want to try and get that excitement back. So I think, like for me, my coaching aspirations next year to keep that standard high, and hopefully everybody else is the same. You know, brings it on, because it's better for us all.
Like, I mean, listen, it's even like a competitor, you know, like I'm looking at other competitors and that, and while it's friendly, it's still that want to go and beat them. You know, that's what we want to do. Or
Aye.
if I'm looking at your clients, I'm going, right, is there any of my clients here next year I could put in against 40? I want,
No
you
way.
know, I would think, that's the truth. And I'm sure the last thing you want to do is get beat by one of my clients. Do you know what I mean?
No way.
So it's like that's how the standards raised. And that's when it came down to last year, even when there was that like back and forth, you know, with yourself as well, when and Phil, it's like that could be great if it's done in the right manner.
100%.
Circus, if it's not, you know.
That was always going to escalate. Like, you know what I mean? So two people like out there, like, well, obviously two headstrong, going head to head. Like, I was only going to end one way, like, but like it was good crack until it wasn't.
Nice to see it on stage though, sort of. They
But Big Fall could actually be good.
yeah, definitely.
Imagine he was peeled, like,
Yeah.
he could be fucking very good, but
Don't want
you
with
know,
you
just,
again.
that wouldn't be a good combo, like. Big Phil's unconscionable. He's got elevates now too. He'd be fucking eating them cookies, like. Hey,
They are very
he'd
nice.
be,
They are
he'd be
very
carving
nice.
up in early.
Oh, aye. They right. Where do you want to end next year? What's the bodybuilding? What are you going to do? You're going to go in top 3 PCA Pro shows?
I think so. I need to rehab this bicep, obviously, get the physique back to a good level, and then we'll the target will be the British finals anyway, for sure.
Yeah.
You can't go any sooner, Neil, because the physique has to come back. I'm
Yeah.
under no delusions. It's dropped off a bit, but we'll get the physique back to where it needs to be, and then we'll prep. And I think there's not going to be a good time for me to prep. Do you know what I mean? Because like you just have to go. You have to jump on, like.
Many shows as well, and clients taking it, but you're well versed in that, Wardy, as well. And I think for like, I remember you were talking about it to me about just, you know, I was like, fuck, I nearly, because you do set the standard. You know, I think as a coach, if I want to set the standard for my clients and follow along with that, like I know when you were prepping, it was like that was one of the driving forces as a client. It doesn't always need to be the case, but it definitely just reinvigors the whole like team that are going that year too.
Oh, definitely. It definitely drives them on, like. But I love it, like. I love prep, like. Off season's harder than prep, hands down. Like, see, getting that foot in and trying to give me a prep any day.
You're right, you're 100%, mate. But listen, Wardy, I really appreciate you coming on, mate. I know it's
I
been
know
me.
it's
Well, if people want to find you, where can they find Wardy?
just Instagram, obviously. The BWardy1986 is probably the best place. Instagram.
So give Wardy a look. You need to get the YouTube back as well. I was looking at some of your old YouTube stuff.
I know, man. I was flat out at YouTube's at one point, and then I was thinking to myself, now where did I have the time to do that?
You get busy and it does. Like even I found this recent, like it's probably
Hard work,
on the priority list a little bit, and you're having to think. And there's that many doing it now. You're having to make it that fancy. It's like fucking, you know.
So it's where do you stop, like? And the thing is, like, with me, the way the coaching the way it is, like, it's just too busy, like, you know. But it'd be good, like, whenever I do start the prep, it'd be good to document it the whole way through. Like, I think, you know, everybody follows along.
You do.
It is.
It doesn't need to be anything. Like I found it even like the raw vlogs where I'm just holding the camera and just going out the
Get
deck.
better, the guy.
Like they're nearly better. You're not having to think about it, and it's much more natural, and it's much more like rather than everything being very scripted or a videographer. I like the videographer one I had done for the PCA show, but it's just it's very time consuming. It's costly where you can just hold the camera and speak like.
It's more real, more raw, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Just kind of just logging it along the way, like. You know, people can relate to it and they take wee bits from it, and the people start to invest on it, and they're almost waiting for the next one to come.
They are,
You
mate.
know,
Listen, I really appreciate you coming on. As I say, like I'm
always
looking
that.
at the next year or so and what's going to come. I think in all fronts with it as well, and sort of seeing you get back from that. I think for you, that'll be it could be a silver lining too, in terms of it just fucking reinvigorating everything.
Get these arms up, get that bike, get that wee. Oh, this is the wee pea shooter, look. Her his arms, bicep, man down. We'll be
It's
back.
coming back. Be picky, as I say, reattach and have a nice peak to it, I reckon.
I told the surgeon to put a wee bit extra on too. Like, that
Second up for meat on her.
and maybe a wee bit of something in there.
But Wardy, mate, I appreciate it. And guys, thank you for following along. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel as well, and obviously follow along them vlogs too. But we will see you next week.